Hello and welcome to Hooting Mandrills. I'm Sam.
I'm Jeremy.
And due to the Spider-Man emergency, Wizards is breaking all sorts of glass all over the place, including bringing something very like Vintage Cube to Arena. There are a number of cards that are going to be craftable for Historic and Timeless, and they will over time rotate more of the cube into craftability, but there are a number that I could have looked up before we started recording, but a not insane number of them coming to constructed formats, and we're going to talk about those. So there's a list. They made an article. You can read it for yourself with a bunch of QB cards that are going to be craftable on Arena. 4 of them are pre-banned in Historic, so these are on the Timeless Farm Upstate only. They are Fire Blast, Preordain, Pyrokinesis, and Seething Song. Fire Blast and Pyrokinesis are in the theoretical Historic philosophy of no free spells, although Snuff Out is also craftable and not being pre-banned. So that's sort of interesting and inconsistent.
Yeah, I guess Snuff Out works a little bit differently, where it just destroys a non-black creature, and it obviously can't be regenerated, but...
Yeah, I don't know if Snuff Out is going to be that good in current Historic. You don't need to kill Elenda anymore since they nerfed Sorin. You can remove a Sire of Seven Deaths exactly once with this card.
Maybe it's good against the Sam combo or something, you don't have to like leave up mana and you can still interrupt. But I mean, you would know better than me. I have no fucking idea.
The thing about like Sam combo or now Val combo is that they're kind of just energy decks also, and I don't really want to pay 4 life against these Ajani Goblin Bombardment decks. So I don't know how good this card's going to be. It might be good. It's a powerful enough effect that it's worth considering, but I don't know how good it's going to be in Historic, but it is weird that this free spell is being let free when others aren't.
You also can't fetch your duels, so it's not as good as it would be in other formats.
Historic is sort of a half-fetch format. You have like Lord of the Rings land cyclers if you're in a deck that can be interested in them for one reason or another. You have Prismatic Vista, so it is harder to have a swamp in play than it is in Modern without imposing significant deck building constraints on yourself.
Right, and it's not like Mountains where like you have to have a certain density of mountains for your Arena of Glory type stuff.
Spymaster's Vault is a much worse card than Arena of Glory. Built a little bit around Witch's Cottage recently, which also demands lots of swamps.
Oh, okay, yeah. So there is some desire to put swamps in your deck, but...
Necrodominance is legal. There are reasons why your deck might be really, really black, although if you're playing Necrodominance, that's another reason to not spend 4 life.
Yeah, that's 4 cards that you could be drawing, you know?
I don't know about Snuff Out. It is kind of weird and in just the reading the bird entrails about what is going on and how
what
they
are the
manage
rules?
Historic.
How does this work? Yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of which, Preordain. Scry 2, draw a card at sorcery speed. One of the rules of Historic is that the defining feature of the format is how fucking weird its card pool is. And one of the things about how its card pool is fucking weird is that it is just cards that are on Arena. So new cards come in and maybe they don't want them to go with old cards, so they just ban the newer one rather than maybe the one that should be banned.
It also seems like their philosophy to never give any wild cards for Historic players based on bans.
But this one's a common.
Right.
So is Ponder.
I don't know that they care about that. They seem determined to never give a wild card to any Historic player.
That too, but like when Mishra's Bauble came to Arena, they banned that so it wouldn't be in the format with Lurrus instead of banning Lurrus. And the newer card is just gonna go out when they don't want 2 of them to be together. Preordain would be maybe not even the second best cantrip in Historic. It's definitely worse than Ponder. It's, I think, probably worse than Swift Spear's Teachings in Wizards. I think it might be worse than Firebrain Scheme in Wizards.
Maybe. I believe it. I don't know. I haven't played.
Maybe not. It's close, but a sleight of hand effect that can sometimes just be a shock is, I think, maybe just better in Wizards. I don't know. I think in rolling blue cantrip decks, maybe the full 8 cantrips that are this good is too good. I don't know.
It's like some kind of storm deck. Are they worried about that, or is they just don't want people to have so many cantrips?
Maybe there is a storm deck, Lotus Field, Underworld Breach type storm storm decks do exist in
just ban
Historic.
Underworld Breach, man. Like, the card is stupid. Like, it can exist in Timeless. Anything can exist in Timeless, but I don't know. It's just like, you shouldn't be banning other cards to save Underworld Breach in Historic, I think. But, I mean, I shouldn't really be the one to make these decisions, as I don't play very much of the format, but...
Yeah, I don't know. It is a little weird and head-scratching, but yeah, you're not allowed to play Preordain in Historic. In Timeless, it's not good enough. But speaking of storm decks, Seething Song. This is one that makes sense to be banned. 2 in a red, add 5 red.
Banned in Modern.
Yes, banned in Modern. There have been, in the past, some, like, Breach Storm decks in Timeless. They haven't been popular in a while. The closest thing you get to a Storm deck in Timeless are usually the Turbo Necro, all-in Mulligan Abuse Necro decks that are trying to either stick a Necro or Sorin Alenda on turn 1 and will sometimes mull as low as 2 to do it, and then, you know, just figure it out, do mini storm lines to Tendrils people to Necro for more, or maybe kill them. And those decks don't really play Seething Song because they're essentially mono black. Seething Song surely can do something, though.
It's a very powerful card.
There are many things that you can do with 5 mana.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, it does cost 3, but you can still make that happen with a mana and a Dark Ritual.
I don't know if that's good, but you can do it.
Timeless,
most of the ingredients for Ruby Storm, other than a density of rituals, are available. I think this will do something. I'm not necessarily sure what the Storm deck that is playing red looks like completely, but I think Rakdos Breach is probably the most likely, even though that deck hasn't been very good for a while. Having 8 rituals instead of 4 is a pretty big deal.
Right. There's quite a few ways to play this card in Timeless. Anything that's banned in Modern, I mean, yeah, literally pretty... I mean, not Samawa or whatever it is, GT, but...
Yeah, that one's legal in Historic.
That card
they
could
added
be legal in Modern, probably, but anything else is pretty good in Timeless. You know, yeah, Seething Song, definitely shenanigans will ensue on that one. Fire Blast will be fun in Timeless maybe as well. Just, there's a lot of good burn in Timeless.
There are a lot of people necroing for 15, like sickos.
Yeah, so now you just have to, even if the red burn player is tapped out, you gotta...
There are a lot of people necroing for 16, like sickos. You only need to live long enough to get your second mountain in play.
Right, yeah, so I guess now you're gonna have to be necroing for less, potentially, but...
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reach in Timeless. You gotta be
2 mountains is hard to get into play, you know, because that necro stuff might be happening on turn 2, so do you have 2 mountains, like, by turn 2? Maybe.
I mean, burn is also a pretty rough proposition against, like, the fair energy decks, because they gain so much life, but, like, this is a powerful burn card. It makes 4 a number to think about, for sure, in managing your life total. It makes 7 more of a number to think about in managing your life total. Pyrokinesis is sort of just worse Fury. The format is kind of, like, too fast and degenerate right now for a Beans deck to really exist. Never mind one that would want more than 4 copies of Fury. But, you know, Force of Will is not craftable, but is in the cube. It will probably come to Arena eventually. If the format slows down enough that a Beans deck is viable, this card does bean.
Yeah, Force of Will, that's not on a reserve list or anything, is it?
No. So also, they don't care. They've put multiple reserve list cards onto Arena.
No, I know, but they may be waiting for some set to re-release Force of Will as a guest of or something.
Yeah, I mean, they are programming it into the client for this cube, but they'll just like rotate it in when they feel like it. Who knows when that will be, but we will be getting a lot of other cube cards. We can speculate more on that at the end, maybe. But
all right, should we just get into some of the cards that are in both Historic and Timeless?
Carnage Interpreter is one of those cards, sort of like Broadside and Gut, where it has a reputation for being very good in cube. Broadside is an actual good constructed card. This one, I'm less sure about as a constructed card. It is a Devil Detective for 1 and 2 red-black hybrid mana. It's from the Clue set. When Carnage Interpreter enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then investigate 4 times. So if it's also a 3/3.
As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, Carnage Interpreter gets +2/+2 and has Menace.
So 5 5/5 menace for 3 is pretty real if the downside isn't fucking wrecking you.
I love biotech specialists, so I'll bring it up at any possible moment, but 4 clue tokens is a lot of artifacts to sacrifice.
That's true. Like, you can play this in red-green, or like mana's a little better. Mana's pretty good in historic. You can probably get away with Jund, like weapons manufacturing. That could be a cool thing to be doing. Maybe some sort of affinity list that's heavy enough into black and or red could play it.
Yeah, there's a mayhem card that is like 3 cost 5/4 that you discard a card every turn and make a treasure. It seems a little bad for historic, but you know, like there's certainly some stuff you could play with.
Yeah, I don't know that I would want to play this in Hollow One specifically. I think there it's just worse than Ange's Ravager.
Probably.
You can sometimes just discard your Fiery Tempers and Blazing Root Wallas and turn them into value immediately if you have the mana for it. Those clues do eventually get you some cards back, though they're kind of slow at that. You need to at least get the game to a parity, or where you're, you know, where it is, you know, doing mid-rangey stuff where a 5/5 for 3 matters, and then maybe you can start cracking clues and doing cool things with it. I don't know. Its power level is there enough that maybe Devil is sort of a weird type that could get synergy that matters at any given time. Card's cool.
Yeah, card's cool. I'm not sure that it's quite there, but
there are a few other of these just sort of red beater commander cards that show up a lot in Cube, like Death Greeter Champion. I don't think this card's good enough for Constructed, but it kills people in Cube. Dress Down's cool. Is a good card, sees a lot of play, can be used to scam Flage, or I guess in Timeless Uro. I wouldn't use it for Uro, probably. In Timeless, I would just play Consign, because you can just put the land in and use the land to cast Stifle or Consign if you're trying to do Uro Stifle things. No Phyrexian Dreadnought or anything, but there are a lot of things. Dress Down, Dresses Down. Urza Saga not going to be craftable yet. It is in the Cube, so you know, look forward to that one, especially if you're interested in playing any sort of like artifact-y deck with
I don't know.
Specialists.
I would like them to print that card, and I don't know, it would probably be banned in historic, right? I mean,
Urza Saga? I think Urza Saga would be fine. It's never been anything but a positive influence on any format it's been legal in. As long as we're doing hot takes, print it into standard.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm down. Like, print Mox Opal into standard. Who cares? I mean, standard is such a horrible format right now anyway. I literally don't care. They could print any ridiculous power level card and I would be fine. Like, they need to do so much to make standard an interesting format.
Mind Collapse is another sort of interesting one, and it's another kind of a free spell that is going to be allowed in historic. It is an instant for 3 and a red, deal
5
damage to target
creature or
planeswalker, and on your turn you can sack a mountain rather than pay its mana cost. It's mostly a QB card. I don't think I would play it in most red decks in historic, or maybe I would play it in some. Maybe like a Phoenix-y deck would be interested in this. Well, Phoenix is sort of like Hollow One in that maybe I'd just rather play Lightning Axe. I don't know. There might be a red deck that is interested in... I say that. I get halfway through the sentence, interested in killing Sheoldred, and then I remember that it is the year 2025. I don't know what 5 toughness thing you care that much about killing, especially when it's not free on your opponent's turn. It's only sort of an instant. Yeah, probably not
this
that
card
exciting.
sounds bad.
Leovold is a little bit more interesting. I'm not sure how good it is, but Sultai 3/3 for 3. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn, and whenever you or a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. So
OG Surak.
Yeah, OG Surak, OG Nadu in a certain sense. This has seen some play in Legacy and like Green Sun Zenith type decks. If you're playing Green Suns or Court of Calling and you're not companioning Lurrus, which the Val decks I think should be now. I think companioning Lurrus and just the energy shell is just better than the Convoke versions, and those decks are mostly not in blue or black anyway.
Yeah, if you're wondering if like a card is better than Lurrus, the answer is probably no. There are certain situations obviously where it's not worth it to play Lurrus, but
But yeah, I could see this being a card that you play 1 or 2 of as a Green Sun target in some decks. Maybe you can play some version of Narset Wheels in Historic that is also somehow a Green Sun Zenith deck. That seems weird to me. I don't really know how that works, but maybe it's viable. I don't know. I think that Leovold's time has largely passed him in Legacy, and maybe it passed him before he even got there in Historic, but it is a card to think about. There might be decks that you want to chord for Leovold against at some point in the format. Titania is sort of cool.
This is a constructed playable card.
Again, this is sort of a Green Sun's card, not something you would play as a 4 of, but you might. So Titania is a 5 mana,
5/3 elemental. When Titania enters, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Whenever a land you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token.
Yeah, so Titania is sort of playable in really degenerate landsy decks. The crop rotation is in Historic. Now, 5 mana is a lot, but these like sort of exploration crop rotation-y decks could be interested in the first copy of this, especially if they're playing Green Sun to find Ice Till or set up some sort of combo.
Right, I mean, making 5/3s is pretty good.
Yeah, making 5/3s every time you crack a fetch, and including with the fetch land that you get back from putting this into play, is...
Staying alive long enough to make all those things happen is certainly a problem, but it's powerful, so I get what you're saying.
Torsten is just one of the bad reanimation or big stuff targets in Cube that you put in your deck as like your 10th pick because the Atraxa didn't come. Turok, Dread Cantor, seen play in Modern at various times. 1 and a black, 2/1 with pro white. You can kick him for 2 extra black, and that 2 extra black does the Turok thing. It hymns them. They discard 2 cards at random, and whenever an opponent discards a card, you put a 1/1 counter on Turok. So, you know, Dark Ritual decks might consider this in Timeless.
Right, if you've scammed away all your cards, then all of a sudden you're hymning to Turok them and they're out of cards. Yeah, I don't know.
Like him, it is target opponents. You can't just
do it through
send
a ring.
it in through a ring or a Leyline of Sanctity is the big one.
Yeah.
But no, it's a card. If pro white is really good, it's a good sideboard card, and
can't be solituded.
It does interesting, powerful things with one of the best cards in Timeless. In Historic, I don't know if the pro white body is good enough just to try and be good against energy. I kind of suspect not, especially when making them discard cards is not very good. I don't really see a home for this in Historic right now, but
I don't know enough about the meta to make any comments on whether this card is playable. It doesn't seem great, but yeah, like you said, maybe 1 or 2 of in Timeless or something.
Unmarked Grave is sort of Entomb at home. It does only find non-legendary things, and there is no Archon of Cruelty.
Is it in the...
Archon is in the cube, so there may eventually
be
Archon of Cruelty craftable into Historic. So yeah, Unmarked Grave might do something. If you are interested in doing persist type things, this finds your one of Sarah Emissary or the reanimation target you really want to persist. In Timeless, it does find the Oops guy, so you can like Dark Ritual, Unmarked Grave, reanimate Oops, and that's unfortunately likely to be pretty good. Oops is bullshit.
Balustrade Spy? Yeah. That's a stupid thing. Yeah, it's prominent in Pauper as well. There's multiple spy decks. I don't know. This seems like a powerful strategy to win on turn 1. Now, maybe they should restrict this. And yeah, this would have to be the one they restrict. They can't restrict Spy because that wouldn't matter.
I don't know that it's necessarily gonna... It is a thing I'm a little worried about, as not the biggest fan of Spy or Oops as archetypes.
Do you play Belcher in that deck too? Is it just like all in horrible stuff, or can you not do it?
I don't know that there's a stock list in Timeless. The last time I played against Oops, they were, I don't think, on Belcher, at least not in the main. Like, they had Soren Alenda in the deck because Soren can also put in Balustrade Spy because he's a vampire.
What the fuck?
And I don't think I saw a Belcher. I did throw a Surgical at them. I think I mischose my Surgical target, and I'm not sure there was one that was good enough to stop them in game 2, but I didn't look at their list enough to know if they had Belchers in.
Is Dread Return?
Dread Return is not on Arena.
Not on Arena. Is it in this cube?
I don't know that I've seen a screenshot of Dread Return yet. I think it is in the Vintage Cube.
I would imagine.
Right now, Oops decks win by milling over their entire deck and bringing back 2 like Progenitus that shuffle themselves back in the deck and just beating you down with like prize amalgams and shit.
Okay.
They might play 1 Oracle to reanimate or something. They don't have like a Dread Return kill right there, right now. But yeah, like this is probably a pretty significant card in Timeless. Historic, it's probably more of a regular reanimator card for like persist decks.
It's a little slower. You can still do the Oops thing in Historic, right? All the MDFCs are...
Yes. All the MDFCs and Spy and Belcher are illegal in Historic, but...
reanimate.
Yeah. Reanimate.
And Dark Ritual being the
Dark Ritual
important cards to win on turn 1.
Cards that make it that fast, but like you could use this, and Life Death is 4 mana. I mean, and 4 is the number you're trying to count to in the Oops deck.
Right.
Will it ruin the format? Either format? I don't know. But Entomb at home is still pretty powerful.
Yes. It seems true.
Upheaval. Return all permanents to their owner's hands.
Is this good? Is this playable?
I don't know. I think
what
you
does
need...
Farewell cost? Is it the same?
6. This does return all lands to everyone's hands.
Oh, all permanents. Okay. Let's restart the game, yeah. Okay. Is that good?
I mean, I think you need probably more artifact mana than... You need a lot of artifact mana so you can just upheaval, land drop for turn, mox, start doing things. So I don't know. I think that people will try it because, sickos love to upheaval people, but I don't know that there's a critical mass to make this actually good.
I'm sure Brawl will hate this, yeah. I mean...
Upheaval hasn't really been a huge player in
anything.
Legacy or Vintage, or it's legal in Modern, hasn't been done much there. It does cost 6 mana. It's probably not that good, but, if your YouTube algorithm shows you Saffron Olive videos, you'll see him play it.
Oh, really? He likes this card?
It's the sort of thing he would like. Vampire Hexmage. Dark Depths is in the cube, but not yet craftable. Will almost certainly be banned in Historic. You can use Vampire Hexmage to scam Overlords, which is sort of cool. You can use to scam Battles, which, there's Invasion of Ikoria, which for 4 mana tutors up the Hexmage, and then you can use the Hexmage to win the battle and get the 8/8. 8/8 for 4 is not the most exciting thing in
degenerate formats.
Old and powerful formats. But
it probably wouldn't be good enough in Standard, to be honest. 4 mana for an 8/8. Honestly, probably not.
I think if Vampire Hexmage and Battles were both in Standard, I think it would be a deck just because scamming Overlord is pretty good. But
yeah, it might be playable, but it probably wouldn't be better than the stuff people are doing.
Sending the 8/8 for 4 is probably not that exciting. Woodfall Primus is another of these like bargain bin big idiots for cube. It is non-legendary, but it is specifically bad with persist because it has persist, so you don't want it to have the -1/-1 counter on it. You get like as little as half the value off it, but it's here. Zuran Orb, if you have some combo that necessitates sacking a lot of lands, you might...
Wish it was Claws of Gix.
Yeah. If it were Claws of Gix, that would be a more significant player in Historic, but it's here. It shows up in some combo decks sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. We need some level of zero-cost artifacts in both Historic and Timeless if we're going to bring the Modern Affinity deck into those formats in its, full glory, but this one is pretty bad, so I'd rather play Tormod's Crypt. Is that banned in Historic?
No, Tormod's Crypt's legal. They do have free spells for Graveyard Hate, like Surgical and Tormod's Crypt are there. The format is much better for them being in it, I would say, and this can sack artifact lands specifically, which might do something with your boy Biotech Specialist. That is a way to sack an artifact.
Yeah, you could sacrifice some artifact lands, I guess.
I think that may be cooking a little too hard, but it is a card that exists. It is, sort of the worst card that has seen a lot of play over the years, or like one of those really bad cards that has seen a decent amount of play over the years and might do something someday. Oh, Dak is in this cube.
Does this card do anything?
Not really.
I'm just
it's seen some
play
in Legacy and Vintage, I think, over the years, just because any Planeswalker that slowly accrues value and pitches to Force of Will see some play among.
But Kaido is just better, right? Like, why would you ever play?
I think that
if you want to pitch to Force of Will, Kaido also pitches to Force of Will, and it's just an infinitely better card than this.
Yes, Kaido Bane of Nightmares sees a lot more play in current Legacy.
Modern Standard Pioneer. I mean, obviously this card isn't legal in those formats, but
I think Dak is like some sort of meme. It's like mentioned offhand once as either a powerful planeswalker or an important figure in some bit of lore. Vorthos is sound off in the comments, and just became a card in some mystery box or booster or something.
Oh, okay.
And is kind of good enough in Cube because people play lots of Moxen that you can steal, and looting is good.
That's about so in a more Moxie type situation, could see that just stealing your Mox is pretty good. I mean, nobody really, and it wouldn't even matter because it would have to be in the right colors, but nobody really plays those cost reducers except the red one, which I guess would work.
There's a Jetstorm deck in both historic and timeless.
That's cool. Is it like good or?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Works by using Chthonian Nightmare with like Shambling Ghast, Greedy Freebooter to make treasures and loot back. There's the Priest of Gix, the guy that Dark Rituals when he ETBs. I don't know, things and stuff happen, and a lot of Storm Triggers go on the stack, and then eventually you beseech for Tendrils or something.
Oh, okay. Seems cool. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, is there anything else here? I think that's pretty much it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Could wildly speculate about other cards that are in the cube. You know, we mentioned Force of Will, Dark Depths are in there. Other classic cube cards. I don't think they're going to be in a rush to make Moxen or True Duels craftable, but I kind of hope they aren't for Tolarian Academy. I don't know. You're more of an Affinity gamer than I am. Would Tolarian Academy at 1 be enough to draw you back to Timeless?
Probably. I don't know. I'd need a lot of wild cards to go back and play Affinity and Timeless, I think, because I don't exactly have all the cards, because I haven't been playing in so long that I don't like have Kappa Cannoneers and stuff, but probably that card is busted. I love Kappa Cannoneer. Print Arcbound Ravager onto Arena, please.
Why haven't we gotten Arcbound Ravager in an anthology?
There's
I honestly want to search it on
deck.
Scryfall just to be sure we haven't, but I'm pretty sure we haven't because I feel like I would see some Affinity player playing it.
Yeah, there was a sick 4 weapons, 4 Arcbound modern deck that I saw recently that looks awesome, but it was also playing that robot from Edge of Eternity's
Pinnacle Emissary.
No, the bad one, the Rust Belt Harvester or whatever.
Oh, the 1-drop.
Yeah, it's playing
the
4
like weird Grim Lava Mancer. Neat.
Sack and it does.
Yeah, I've looked at some of these. They did okay, and I think one of the Affinity
that card's busted.
One of the Affinity weapons decks top 8'd the RC Houston.
Yeah, no, that deck is really good.
Doomsday, I don't know if there's been a sighting, but it is in Vintage Cube.
I imagine if they're doing a high power cube, they want to have a Doomsday deck available, right? I mean,
yeah, Doomsday would be pretty interesting in Timeless.
For sure.
There's still no Street Wraith on Arena. I have been thirsty to have Street Wraith for Historic Hollow 1 for years now.
Are the Tron lands in the cube?
So
because they're still already on Arena,
yeah, they are
not
already on Arena,
in Timeless,
but they're only
even,
they're only conjurable, which is fine with me. Fuck Tron, but yeah, Tron lands are on Arena, but not craftable. I don't know if or when that will happen. Mishra's Workshop is in the cube. If
that one might take a while to make its way.
Yeah, I mean, become like Vintage, where just embarrassing cards are on the restricted list just for the sake of keeping Workshop at 4.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if they're gonna. They would never reprint Bazaar of Baghdad or anything because of the racial connotations, but it's not that problematic.
Bazaar,
I don't think,
yeah, Bazaar.
to call
I mean,
something Bazaar
the reason
Baghdad,
they won't reprint Bazaar is I'm pretty sure it's reserved list.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I don't know what's on that. So
yeah, but like I think that I don't think it's racist to say there are Bazaars in Baghdad.
No, I don't either. But like,
what's racist is all the other things that the American government did to Baghdad.
Of course. But I don't think they want to. I don't think they want to bring it up anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but
yeah, I mean, Bazaar is also just busted. It is another of those cards that is going to be at 4 in Vintage forever, because where else are you going to play it? And it's not playable if it's not at 4, but is just going to meet half of your sideboard if you play that format forever. I don't think it's in cubes because it's just sort of not very good.
Is Library of Alexandria in the cube?
Library is a cube card.
I know it's in the Vintage cube. Have you seen it in this one?
I don't know. I think someone may have shown me a picture of Library. I don't know how good Library would be in Timeless. Like,
There's
no
like
one in
so
no
heavy mulligans. So
it
is
a mulligan.
7 cards.
It is a format where the London Mulligan is your friend. It is a format that currently doesn't have a ton of free permission, although Force of Will is in the cube and Force of Negation is coming in
Avatar.
Yeah, in the bonus sheet for Avatar. No one plays the one copy they're allowed in Vintage anymore. Library could probably honestly be unbanned in Legacy, except it costs $1 zillion, and they probably don't want to unban it for that reason.
What's that card called? I'm guessing like Tabernacle's not in the cube.
I don't think I've seen Tabernacle, no.
I'm just thinking of cooked
weird,
lands
weird deranged cards from the bad old days to go and join other weird deranged cards from the bad old days like Necropotence and Show and Tell in the Timeless format.
Plenty of horrific cards in Timeless already, so when we're talking about horrible cards coming into Timeless, it's not really that serious. All right, do we have anything else to talk about? Is that what we have to say on this matter?
I think that's about it.
Yeah, print Arcbound Ravager into Historic, okay? For me. Do it for me.
So, quick addendum to this, the general goings-on in Historic Timeless. They made some Alchemy rebalances, mostly oriented at Alchemy, but those affect Historic, and it also seems someone working at Wizards remembered that Fires of Invention and Meathook Massacre were still nerfed in Historic. They now are not. Fires of Invention is a card that I think Historic has largely passed by. Pioneer has largely passed Fires of Invention by. But Meathook Massacre is a fringe playable. I've thought for a while that there should be some sort of Black Devotion Necrodominance deck that could exist in the format. This could be an important piece now that it gains you life again. The big changes, though, especially with the Historic Qualifier being 3 days away at the time of recording, is that most of the changes really are only Alchemy stuff. They are changes to Alchemy cards that mostly affect the Alchemy format, but Swiftspear's Teachings has been nerfed. It now only gives prowess or haste, not both, and Vivi requires you to tap to make mana with his ability.
So is that a permanent change to Swiftspear's Teachings across every...
Swiftspear's Teachings, yes, that would also impact Timeless or Brawl, because it is an Alchemy card.
Cool.
So that's a pretty significant change. I think if I were really getting sweaty about the qualifier on Friday, I would probably have been trying to grind Wizards, because I don't like Eldrazi, I don't want to play Eldrazi, and that means you need to be fast aggro or fast combo, and I think Wizards is probably the best suited to addressing Eldrazi. I've been struggling a little bit with Hollow One, which is a deck that I really like, but I think is not there. It really doesn't seem great against the Goyf decks, the Jund decks. Beating Baragoyf and Pyrogoyf is really hard. If I had been playing a lot of Wizards and they took major pieces out of my deck for the sake of the Alchemy format, I would be pretty pissed. You know, I've been an enemy to the Wizards deck more than a friend to it.
It's essentially the reason why I stopped playing Historic, to be honest.
You know, this deck is one that
I hate, and I'm rooting for it.
And yet I feel compelled to defend its players, who there are more of than there are Alchemy players, period. And they just like get this horrible piece of news 3 days before a qualifier, and
yet they can't ban Vivi for 50 days or whatever it was when they started, because the precious players bought cards for Standard. I mean, I guess this isn't real money, but you can spend real money on this if you're that person who does that.
So if no one was doing that, the platform wouldn't exist. So I guess thank you if you are that person. But Eldrazi Temple is still going to be here. Kozilek's Command is still going to be here. It's rough out there.
And
in
they
those
just
streets.
nerfed Vivi too. So like if you're interested in some kind of like historic prowess cutter deck that's already nerfed, like
if you were the Retraction Helix combo deck that I guess Rona is more important than Vivi to that deck, but your deck might just be dead. I don't know. Like the person who played it seemed like they were a deck master. They'd know better than me, but
yeah, I think that Alchemy needs to go. I get it. There are content creators who play Alchemy, and some people must care about this format somewhat, but I think that Historic is much more important, and it's a much better format. They don't curate it, which is its biggest issue, but like Alchemy serves no purpose. They should delete the format.
Yeah, delete the format, make all the cards historic horizons. That is already how they're designed. Next week, we'll be talking about standard and, what does a small standard even mean at this point. But to the extent that it means anything, Alchemy is one, and it has a full horizon set in it at any given time. Why are you even trying to balance this? Why devote any resources to that? The resources to the digital designs, I'm super happy with. I want those to continue, but yeah, it's kind of shitty. One bright spot in terms of historic playability with these Alchemy buffs and nerfs is the card that we really liked in our Duskborn Alchemy set review, Lurker in the Deep, the Overlord-esque fish illusion, got its impending cost reduced to 3 mana, so that's like closer to being a historic playable card that you can brew around with, but it's weird, it's frustrating. They curate Alchemy more than they do. I mean, that is sort of what they say is the raison d'etre for Alchemy, is that it is the fastest changing, most curated format, but like other formats that people play could use curation, and Alchemy's curation is negative curation for
historic,
like one of the most popular formats on Arena.
And the one that they have the most tournaments and stuff for is historic. On Arena. Like, I think even more than standard, really. Like, historic is usually the one that's up there for some kind of tournament.
It's at least close. Historic is probably a better path to the Pro Tour than Pioneer or Legacy.
I mean, Pioneer's dead. You can't get to the Pro Tour from Pioneer anymore.
But, like, there's probably one Pioneer.
Explorer,
yeah. There's probably one ACQ and maybe one Arena Championship in Pioneer. On Arena, you can grind it on Mitt Go the same as you can Legacy or Vintage.
Or Pauper or anything.
Or Pauper or anything, but no paper path to the Pro Tour for any of these. Legacy and Vintage at least have Eternal Weekend. Pauper has Paupergeddon. But if you're trying to make the Pro Tour, Historic is a better path than any format other than Standard or Modern, and it is completely left with no one watching the store, it seems.
Yeah. I mean, we have this conversation every couple of times we hit the record button that they just don't care about Historic. And
I am
like
glad
to
that
stop
Soren's
saying
gone.
Yeah, I am glad about that. Luris could probably go too. It's probably not the biggest issue right now, but I just don't think a healthy format has Luris in it.
Honestly, Luris is not that big a deal, but it is because the format is so unhealthy. It's so fast that Luris doesn't matter that often. Like, it's so fast, and the interaction's kind of bad because of the no free. I mean, maybe Snuff Out will change something. I like that the Goyf's deck is good.
Goyfs are sick.
Even if I can't beat it with Hollow One. But, there are bright spots in the format. There are fun things to be doing and brewing, but it's a very linear format where, in part because Eldrazi is too good, in part because of what passes for format philosophy. Kind of a downer note to end the episode on, but what can you do? It's kind of weird and wacky, and wish they wouldn't do it this way.
Yeah, I wish that Historic was a fun, wonderful place as it used to be, but, lots of issues. We're all done talking about how bad Historic is now. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Tune in next week to hear us talk about how bad Standard is.
Bye-bye.